We're not bad people. Like, we've been made the scapegoat for so many things, like LGBT people. If there's like a flood or like anything wrong, like it's always the LGBT people to blame.
Hi, I'm Liana.
Hey, I'm Ili.
Hi, I'm Marissa.
Welcome back to Pillow Talk, where we talk about all things love and relationships.
So, I mean, for people like me and Liana, who's at work, we still gotta follow protocol. If you guys are at work, the ones at home, great job, guys. Keep social distancing, okay?
That's right. And our virtual guests for today are uber special, as June is LGBTQ Pride Month. Yay! Our guests today are known to be from a local queer brand, and they're based in Malaysia, and they're out there making good music, making art, and just doing these amazing things. So today we have with us Diam's Faris and Tingtongketz Shika. Welcome!
Thanks. We'd like to say thank you to Likely for giving representation to trans people. So thank you very much. Yeah, positive representation in the media. Thank you.
We're honored to have you guys here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for being here with us. Oh my god.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Shika, intro.
My name is Shika. I make songs for Tingtongketz, and also I'm a visual artist. I do draw and paint and make music. How about you?
Well, I'm Faris. I'm the vocalist and guitarist for the band Diam. And yeah, we like to spread the message that love is for all. And listen to us on Spotify and every single major streaming platform. Come to our shows when we can have shows. Yeah. Thank you.
I love that. I love that you guys are spreading message about love through your music.
All right, guys. I guess now we want to really talk about basically the LGBTQ community in Malaysia. We know that in Malaysia it's not really a community that's been accepted. So we want to know from your opinion, how is it like for you guys when it comes to sort of trying to get the acceptance from your friends and your family and whatnot?
About what?
Acceptance of the how it's been for you.
Being trans. Of course, when you first come out or transition, then you have some opposition from your parents, I think, and not just your parents, your neighbors, your friends. You lost friends, you lost your family, you lost mostly everyone that you know. But when you transition, then you make new friends. And then you make new friends, and then life goes on, I guess. Yeah, it's just a transitioning period, Yeah, from A to B. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have the conception, the idea that the medical transitioning is the biggest part of the transition process itself, but it's actually social transitioning that has the most impact on your life. Whether it's acceptance from your family, acceptance at the workplace, the society in general, like the law is against us in the first place, like our existence in the first place. So, and we understand that acceptance for people like us starts at home, like with families and stuff. So we try to spread that message through music and having a good time with people and stuff. And slowly I hope that the perception of who we are changes, and we're not bad people. Like, we've been made the scapegoat for so many things, like LGBT people. If there's like a flood or like anything wrong, like it's always the LGBT people to blame. So it's like we're not that powerful. We're just regular people trying to get by like everyone else.
We cannot control weather, and
we try. Yeah,
natural disaster. We cannot control earthquakes. So.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we can do that too. So like, if that happens, like,
who can?
Okay.
Can lah, but I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Do you remember sort of the first time you felt like this is who you are? Do you remember at what age and when you sort of realized when you had to tell people? Or was it like a long time that you kept it to yourselves and then you sort of told people later on? Do you remember that moment?
But I think I've always known, like, ever since when you're small, you kind of notice, like, why does my brother have a pee-pee and I don't? Like, I'm a boy too. Like, that's that's you're about 3-4 years old and you realize, but the information was not available to us at that time. Like we didn't have access to internet, we didn't have access to other people like us. So it came, my actual transitioning process started a lot later. I was 30 when I realized that fuck this shit, I'm gonna live my life to my truest self. So I started transitioning when I was 30 years old, and that I think but I went through a lot of like suffering and pain, and I didn't quite know how to describe that. I didn't quite know, because I didn't know what I was going through myself. So yeah, we hope that changes over time with platforms like Likely, like you'll be able to reach out to a wider audience and help people who went through the same things we did. And we hope, and we want them to know that they're not alone. Like, yeah.
I think when you first transition when you were young, I think it always start at home and around your immediate family at that time. So in Malaysia, some family oppose you, against you. Some family welcome you, your new you, and because it depends. Like somehow some religious Malay family, for example, also accept their new person, daughter or son in the family through transitioning, but some also against it, so and force you to not transition. So like for me, where I come from in Melaka, nak mention Melaka kan. From my family, it was not a really good place to transition for me. So when I start to come to KL, to the city, then I can like start slowly transitioning, because it takes a very long time, because Malacca, my family also quite conservative, my relatives also quite conservative, so it's not really a good a place surrounding to transition. So yeah.
And then the religious perception is always like, oh, you chose this life, like you chose to have this kind of thing for you. Like, but why would anybody choose to be ostracized by the society? Why would anybody like consciously choose that? It's always like, and then transitioning for people is not very easy. First, you have to, like, the medical transitioning is one, the social transitioning is another. At the workplace, you have to come out to people at your workplace, and then you're afraid whether you might lose your job or not, because currently there are no laws protecting transgender people at the workplace as well. So there's always that fear of losing your job. And then because I worked as a journalist, so I transitioned on the job. So it was like meeting contacts every time, and every single day I had to come out to a new person. I had to like, oh, this is my pronouns, by the way, this is my name, by the way, please use these things. Like every single time there was that fear of rejection. So it kind of builds up an anxiety in you, and yeah, it's not very pleasant. So I hope that society understands that we're in this together, and we want to make it as smooth and as pleasant for everyone else.
Yeah, I really just want to say I really applaud you for really wanting to be yourself 100%, because I don't think a lot of people can. I think right now a lot of people are still hiding because they're afraid to show themselves. So I'm really, really happy that you finally have done that, even if it was a little late. Yeah, even if you did it when you were 30, and but I'm really, really happy. I think that really just sort of opened the door for a lot of people to do what you're doing. So thank you for being yourself. That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for support.
Thank you.
Faris, you mentioned just now that your partner collects art, and in terms of the struggles of dating, that's one thing to also talk about when you are.
Oh, that's a whole shit show. Really.
Like, how do you date, and how do you come out to people when you date, and how do they accept you? How do they respond to you? This is for both of you. Like how.
When I made the decision to transition, I was kind of like in between relationships, but also just beginning to start a new relationship. So luckily, this person understood completely and accepted me for who I was. But I know, like, in a lot of instances, it's not as easy for other people. And then after that, we broke up. So it was on Tinder for me. And then Tinder is like this whole, like, hey, no likes, huh? The only likes I get are from my own friends who are trying to like, like kesian swipe right, like that. because I don't know. It's like it's a sticky situation. Should you or should you not come out as trans in your Tinder profile? Like, it's not exactly a trans-friendly platform. Yeah. So so I made the decision consciously to state that I'm trans in my Tinder, profile, and that kind of, I think, scared a lot of people, off, because there's this idea that's been ingrained into our brains, especially when you're like in your late 20s and early 30s. You're like, oh, I gotta get married, biologically have kids and shit. And so people around our age at that time were looking for that, and so they were not sure about getting into a relationship with a trans person, even though they themselves might not be transphobic. So,
Wow.
how about you, Shika? You want to story about your dating life?
I think for trans women, there's fear a lot of fear of violence, usually, because I think for usually trans women who date men, we also advise to state clearly now in our profile that we are trans women, because there are some violence happening. Like if you don't put your, but it's not a must to put. I think you don't have to declare that you are female or male. I don't know.
But I don't know why, like, people, it's such a big deal that you have to declare what's between your legs, like, yeah. But I think for me right now, like, I'm in a relationship with someone who knew from the very beginning, and it wasn't a big deal for her, and it's not a big deal for her parents either. Like, luckily, they're very accepting and very, very open. But this is, we're talking about someone who's like not Malaysian, so maybe culturally it's different for them. Yeah, but I think if I were like, that's why, like, I never get any swipes on Tinder, because local girls didn't want to date me. And then, but there's that whole, that whole awkward situation with the family, like when you have dinner with the family, say you're dating a local person, and then suddenly you're like, have to come out, oh, by the way, delicious rendang, I'm trans. Like, yeah, there's a
Oh man.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your dating experiences with us. I hope it gets better here. And like Faris, when you mentioned that, we have platforms here to help support you guys and create more awareness. Like, I'm really honored that, we get to do this for you guys too. I hope after this video, people will be more aware about things like this and less judgmental about, trans people. Yeah. I think we learned a lot from the session itself. Is there, okay, before we move on to the lighter things, is there, do you think you might regret your decision one day when you get older? Have you ever thought about that?
I think the only regret is that I didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's my only, like, big regret.
Mm.
Yeah. We didn't transition sooner or earlier. That's the only regret that we have.
Yeah, maybe if I did it sooner, I would have been able to keep my hair. But now, like, I'm balding already, so it's like, oh man, 35-year-old man balding, so it's like.
Yeah, no, honestly, I just wanted to say
Okay.
thank you so much for, being yourselves. And because I have friends who are thinking about doing the transition, but they're afraid to do it. They're my age or younger than me. They're in their early 20s, and it's just really sad to see that they want to do it, but they can't. They can't completely be 100% themselves. So I just really hope that, they can sort of see people like you who have done it, and you guys are living your lives, being super happy and being yourselves. So I really hope that would inspire a lot of people to do the same. So thanks for
Thank you. We're open to, like, if they come to our shows and want to talk to us after that, that's fine. Or just drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram. We're happy to help where we can.
If a trans person when they were young, if they care so much about passing as a female male, I think it's better to start early. That's the only regret that we have, because when you get older, I think the chances of passing as the opposite gender is lesser and lesser because of the hormones in the body or something. But it's better done when you're at the early stage.
Yeah. Although, like, passing is not, like,
necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary. You don't have to actually, transition, take hormones to.
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't have to have the surgeries if you don't feel you don't want. You don't want to, but yeah, it helps.
See, this kind of things is so important. Like, people don't talk about that. here in Malaysia. People don't know where to go, and we really need people like you to tell them like, "Hi, you can do this. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can do this."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really good. It's really good.
But it also doesn't help that the the sex education that we have in our schools. Yeah, that doesn't help much either. I mean,
Let's hope that it will be better after this. That there's changes in the education system.
slowly. Yeah.
Slowly.
I'm really glad we had that conversation, and now we're gonna hop on to a little game called Never Have I Ever. So we've been having a lot of fun with lipstick, so we thought, you know what? Let's stick with it. Get it? Lipstick, stick. Sorry. Okay, so everyone has their lipstick, right? Okay, this is Faris's idea to do this. So I'm gonna do this.
Product review and
Yes. Okay. So there are 4 basic rules. We're gonna ask you questions, and if you have done it, you're gonna use your lipstick on your face. You cannot use it on your lips because that's boring. Yeah, we're gonna have it everywhere else but the lips. So we get to decide where we're gonna apply it. We're gonna be creative with it. You can use it as blush, eyeshadow, whatever you want. Highlight your nose, up to you. And the ones with the most I have, you're gonna post a story on Instagram, and you're gonna tag us. And you're gonna say, "Oh my god, it was so much fun!" Yeah, okay. So even if you didn't have fun, just pretend you did. Okay, so no cheating. You're gonna answer really, really quick, and Eli's gonna ask us the questions.
All right, guys, here we go. Rule number 1 is to be honest as possible. Okay, let's start with the first one. Never have I ever walked around with my zipper down. Y'all say.
God lah. So many times.
I mean, I've walked not on purpose lah. I terlupa.
Yeah.
Until like the day, my friend will be like, "Hey, why is the zipper down?"
I have a shoot after this, so I'm just gonna keep it safe with putting it on my cheeks. Okay.
Wait, you guys walk around with your zipper down on purpose or accidentally?
Accidentally lah.
both.
Never have I ever been a friend with
What?
Been a friend with who? Tak.
The friend with benefits.
Oh. Dear.
been a friend with benefit. Alamak, yeah lah.
Have you ever been a friend with benefit?
Survivor of the fittest.
Shika macam, never have I ever just looked at myself naked in the mirror. Come on, of course lah.
Of course.
Just stand there naked.
Walk around the house naked also got.
Every day
Yeah.
every day must check perfect or not.
Especially MCO time, but there's no requirement
Yeah.
for you to wear clothes. Save on laundry, save money,
Exactly.
save water.
Safe water. Yeah.
Yo, so funny. I cannot. Aduh. Okay. So this one on purpose lah. This one not accidentally lah. This one memang on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we own the fact.
Own it.
Accidentally naked.
Buka.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Never have I ever lied to my partner and never told them the truth until now. Which bahaya ni?
Bahaya lah. Dangerous.
I mean, I'm single now. I dah break up. So technically, it's okay, right? I don't have to do it.
Selamat lah. Selamat.
It's
My
okay.
partner kejap lagi balik rumah kan.
Right. Last one for all of us. Never have I never have I ever walked in on someone in the bathroom. Toilet ke? Actually,
Run out of space.
Purposely ya.
Purposely. Kau tengah berak ke? Sekejap. Okay lah. Many times.
Many times.
we must ask on purpose or accidentally.
Accidental.
Accidental aja lah.
Sometimes only got one toilet and 16 people, no choice.
All right. Thank you so much for being honest, everyone.
Woo, that was really fun. Now that we have come to the end of our conversation, we just want to say we're really, really grateful to have both of you here sharing your experiences with us and your stories with us. And I hope that this will inspire, anyone out there who needs to hear this. Do you have any final messages that you want to share to our audience?
I don't think when we were slow, we don't choose our body on the earth, right?
Are you talking about
Ooh.
Oh, the shade.
The shade, though.
Our final message is love yourself. Sometimes you don't. If you have to give a shit about what everybody thinks, there's 7 billion people in the world, not enough shits to give. Yeah.
Very good point. That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true, yeah.
Yay, and that's it. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much
you.
for sharing your story. We had so much fun with you.
Thank you, Likely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Faris from Diam,
Hi, I'm Shika from Tingtongketz.
and you are watching Likely.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow them out. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to press the bell button
For
below.
notifications, like and subscribe.
Yes.
At We Are Likely.